Hello friends, and welcome back to Restore You. It is Angela, and today we are back with another Why Not Wednesday. And most of you probably know that I was on vacation last week in the Boundary Waters, and we had a few rainy days, and so I had challenged myself with only bringing a few essential tools, if you will. And I had some time to create. So some of that started in the car, and it was just simply cutting things. But I thought what we would do, two things. Number one, I thought I would go over some of the things that I made in the time that I had, and then challenge all of you to create more with less. So more things with less tools and see what you can come up with. So here are some of the things that I took on my trip. We'll start with that. Let me just move all of this good stuff away. So I had brought, I brought several magazines to read, and thought I would probably, cut some things out. Obviously, this one is one of many of your favorites, Daphne's Diaries, and there's so many lovely, lovely, pretty opportunities to use the beautiful artwork and images. So I ended up just using this magazine for elements, and then I might have used a couple of full pages, but then I had this one, and I used these for my base pages, and I intended to just do some signatures, and it kind of ended up that I did a journal. So I did one. And the way I started is I decided what color themes. So I did one using kind of the bright pages. And this is not finished. This one I never got to because I focused more on the other one. But I just kind of put the colors together that I would then collage or add pages to. That one I did. And so this one's ready to go. So this might be something I stick in my travel kit and work on the next time I go on a trip. But that's kind of as simple as it is. Like, you just pull out your pages and make them what you want. And then this is the one, I'm going to move this aside. This is the one that I actually worked on. So I will go through it in a minute. But here's what I want to share with you about before I show you all the goodies that I made. For the challenge, here is what the parameters are. They're really pretty simple. Hopefully you will be able to read this. I'll lay it there so you can take a screenshot, if you will. So you are welcome to use one magazine, and I am going to say two because technically I use two magazines. So you get two magazines as well. A glue book. Now, let me just tell you about this little number. There wasn't much up where we were as far as, like, you wouldn't go to a Starbucks or go shopping, but in this little, just off the side road was this little store. I think it was like a restaurant, a small grocery, a liquor store, and I think they rented cabins too. So it was kind of all in one. But outside they had a, like leave one, take one, book exchange. And so I picked up this one because I didn't have a glue book with me. So glue book is something you'll want to have. And then here is what I've got. So let's see. I'm just going to do this. Everything was in my little zip it bag. And I had only that little ruler, which, by the way, was challenging in and of itself. I had two different distress inks. So some of the things that you're going to see, I did finish up when I got back. Two different types of glue. And I did go through an entire glue stick while I was there. I have a paper punch, and then I had stuck in a round punch and my corner punch, which I kind of can't live without. So I had those. And then I had my applicators for my ink. Always, I never leave home without it. This is my, one of my, where is it? Did I not put that on there? Oh, I think I might have forgot it unless I'm not seeing it. But 2 types of cutting utensils. And no, you cannot bring a paper trimmer. That's too big. It has to fit in like something small, a gallon bag, whatever you have. Writing utensils. I chose to bring my watercolor pens, and then I just had a regular pen, a pencil, and then my watercolor water brush. And then I had a roll of tape, and I had some duct tape too, some clear duct tape, but I did not have this in the kit. I bought that at one of our stops for something else, and I decided to use it while I was there. So I'm okay if you use a couple rolls of tape. You can use any of, you could use washi, whatever it is that you choose that you want to have, as long as it fits in your bag. And then I had also, hang on, this could cause some damage. I also took some of my digitals, and I took some that are already on my Etsy shop, and then I took a couple that I'm just working on. So you can use any of my printables. If you go, just a tip for the freebies, if you go to our To Restore You VIP page, the sentiments that I'm going to show you, and today I'm going to show you how to print on fabric, or how I print on fabric, and we'll be using the words and sentiments, and those are on the To Restore You VIP page for free. And this is one of the things that I worked on while I was up there. I just cut all of these out in the car. That was interesting. But I had printed these in advance, and then I brought along, now I had some 12 by 12 paper because the kit that I'm going to show you had 12 by 12 paper. But I know a lot of you just use 8.5 by 11 paper. So as much as you can fit in a gallon bag, or, one of these 12 by 12 pieces. It can be yours. It can be other people's digitals. I'm totally okay with that. But these are the ones that are in the shop now. So there are some sentiments and words inside of these kits. You can either buy it as a bundle, or you can buy it as individual add-ons. So there are some tags, which I think, no, I didn't print those. I printed another one that I'm working on to try it on the fabric. So there's all of these, and these I just printed in 8.5 by 11. And then I had the 12 by 12s that I took with. And I did cut one set of those. So I cut all of these while I was on the road. And then I did do some tags initially, and then finished them up with more inks and ribbons when I got back, because I didn't have much in my little stash. And I did have some scraps too. So you can, if you have a little scrap bag of goodies, use those as well. So I did all of these while I was in the car. So those were ready for me. And then these were the ones that I intended to get to, in that it is the Cherry Blossom kit. But I didn't even use them because I was so caught up in my Daphne's Diary. So I would be very, very excited to see what you guys create with these. This is all in that kit. I'm thinking there's only one of these in there, but maybe there's two. Some of these I tested just to see how I like them before I put them on Etsy, which I usually do. So look at the Etsy post just to make sure you're getting what you want. So I'm going to set those aside. So you could use these. You could use just the words and sentiments, which is essentially what I ended up doing. So I started with making these cover pages, and then I did have my papers, and then I had some other papers that I wanted to use up. I also had, this was parchment paper, like the parchment paper you used to bake with, and I personally have never seen it in this this color, but it was there at the Airbnb, so I used it to my advantage. And these were actually some wildflowers that our son Sam had picked, and I dried them and put them on there. This is one of my digitals, and then this is one of those sentiments. And then I took some time in the car. This is one kit that I'm working on, and I was cutting those out to see how I liked them. This is another one, and I actually did print these on fabric so you could see. I'm not loving it, but I'll tell you why in a minute. Just some other ones. I don't know what I got here. I'm not sure what all of these are. These might have been a digital. I know those are mine, but I think this is just a hodgepodge of stuff that I had. But I just was a cutting fool while I was in the car. It was a little tricky because as we got farther up there, it was a little bouncy. But on those rainy days, that's what I did is I, took some of these things that I had from my kits, and I believe this one is in the Gloria kit, and just kind of cut them all out and had them ready to roll so I can use them. And it's kind of nice because when you don't have, you got 9 hours in a car, it's a good way for you to use your time wisely. And here, let's see. Which did I create with these? These, I think, are in the Gloria. These are the bundles of envelopes I'm trying. I'm not sure I'm satisfied with all of them yet, so I'm still working on that. These were from the magazines. Oh, this I must have had in that, I must have had some, of the Brer leftovers from my jelly plate stuff, so I must have used the, yep, I did. And then this is another envelope that I started and apparently didn't finish. I don't know where this came from. This must have just been in there from, one never knows. Okay, so we got those, and then these were some of those from the paper. It's a little combination of my papers and then papers from the others that I brought with. And I think, let me tell you who these papers are from. I think I got them at they're color block. So Modern Millinery is the name of it, and it's by Color Block, B-L-O-K. But mostly I used a lot of magazine pieces. Now here, I wrote on that, I had to write it down because I looked it up. My garden is a beautiful place to stay planted and grow. So I wanted to say that in French, and thank goodness for Google and translation because I was able to do that. That was just from there. This one and those others that I showed you, we went into another little shop and they had a huge sale, and so I picked up 2 things of napkins that I thought, oh, I can share those in Happy Mail, and so I did use those while I was up there, but that was not part of my challenge plan. Let's see, there's another little, and I just kind of hand cut these and made them into the envelopes just with no plan. There's some more of the book or the magazine pages. These were in the back of, I think, that Daphne's diary. So I just made some pieces in there that, and I was trying to use a lot of my sentiments because I really, really, really love to print on fabric. And the possibilities are endless, and I can't wait to show you how easy it is. But then, I get them all cut out, and I don't utilize them as much as I should. So these were just little pockets. So there's let's see. There's a pocket here. I think there's a belly band. Yep, a belly band here. And these, I was just winging it. I was just cutting up the paper and, let's see that. Oh, there's one on the back. I think these were all 2-sided. So these are all ready. I can stick these in my little ephemera pack. This is one I created from my digitals. These were stickers that were in that as well. I love this one. It's like a little modern and a little vintage all in one. And those are from my digitals that I'm working on. I don't think that one is published yet. It's soon to come out. This was more of Daphne's papers. This is a page. And then I told you I took my watercolors. And I can't find, I had a whole stack. I just took that glue book and I thought, oh, I'll just, play around with a bunch of color on, and it was very cathartic. But I don't know what I did with them. They're somewhere. And then this was just random pieces from everything left over, and I just did a baby masterboard. I don't think, does this fold out? Nope, I folded a bunch of map pages together because they were pretty thin. So that was the last thing that I did. But I really got a lot accomplished, and, my intent was not to do that, but why not when it's raining? So this is the outcome of what I finished, and I still have a few things that I need to add in. Hopefully there'll be some of that. Yeah, there's some paper that I did. This was when I printed on a printed. You could see the dots there, and it turned out pretty cute. But like some of those black dots are right over the words, so that didn't work out so well. A little flip, and it's surprising how much you can really do with not much. You just got to be a little more innovative. And I tried to stay true to that as much as possible. And I would say, like, if you don't have to be traveling to do this challenge, but, think about it as if, okay, this is all I've got. And so, what could I use? Like that parchment paper was just there, and I thought, well, I'm going to try it out. So some of these pages, I did all pinks and turquoises in this one. These are all from Daphne's diary. This one, what did I do? How did I do this? Oh, I think, let's see. This was one, in every one of her magazines, she has recipe cards. And so I took the recipe card, it's, already perforated, and I just added this paper on it. And then I just took my punch and hole punch to make it look like a kind of a big old postage stamp with some paper on the back. And a little belly band. Oops, we got a little stickage. This was from there. So like I said, some of them, this was some of that napkin. Some of these are not yet done. These were from one of my kits. I didn't cut that very well. But like I said, these are some from my kits that were stickers that I had. What is going on here? Oh, shoot. This is her paper. What did I do with this? Oh, I never finished this. It folds out. And I meant to staple this in, but I didn't ever get to it. So maybe I'll just add something to it. So this is a writing page, and then this was a pocket. Another pocket. I love these geraniums. These are some of the papers that I had, and I did some collaging. I did several collages on my glue book, my acquired glue book from the little stand. So that was kind of fun to use those up as much as possible. This I thought was cute. It was in her magazine, and then I just made it look like that's coming out of it. What did I create here? A little pocket, a little mini pocket. And then I don't know what I was doing. Oh, this is something I print now. This is from one of the kits that I'm working on, and I printed that to test it, and it didn't really have a purpose. So I was like, well, what can I make into this? So it was just to see the colors and how I liked it. More of this I did add when I got back. Some, I don't think I had washi tape with me. I can't remember. There's a couple of my digitals and a little, let's pull that out. I did, like I said, I had a bunch of scraps that I had just thrown in that bag, so I used those up as much as possible, which gets hard when you're like only doing a color scheme. You're like, well, what do I have? So kind of frees your mind and helps you be more and more creative. And seeing how you can use those pages still need to be done. I loved doing this watercolor, and that was all it was, is I was just like using those watercolor markers, if you will, and then I'd come in with the watercolor, the water pen, and then kind of blend them together. So I love doing that. Ooh, that's more of the napkin. I loved these colors. And I really liked how those random papers from that book worked into this, because there was no plan. Another little pocket. And just the back is pretty simple. And then I added this when I got home, and I'm not liking it because, as you all know, I have a love-hate relationship with washi tape. So let me put that back over here. And now I'm going to show you how I create my digitals on fabric. So here's what, I'm just leaving that there in case you want to take the photo. And I should have counted how many pieces of ephemera and tucks and pockets I did. I might have to do that afterwards. We're going to concentrate on making some of these words. And again, if you hop on the To Restore You VIP page and join us, then they are in a post I posted today for tomorrow's, well, again, when you watch this, it will be Wednesday. So it's posted on Tuesday. So what you're going to need in order to make or print on fabric is I'm going to set this aside and I'll bring it back at the end. You're going to need a pair of fabric scissors and some type of fabric. Now this is like a muslin, pretty thin cotton muslin. It works perfect. What I used on this set was a little bit thicker, and hopefully you'll be able to see it, but then you're just going to need a piece of cardstock. This is not really that thick. The thicker cardstock you get when you add this on there is going to make it a little more difficult, and the caveat would be know your printer. I have printed both on my Epson printer and on my HP printer upstairs, which is my office printer, and both worked fine, but my HP is a little persnickety. So just beware of that and make sure that when you adhere your fabric that you're going to make sure you get it down really, really well and almost to a perfect fit. So this is 8.5 by 11. So I just cut my fabric 8.5 by 11. And then I use this Loctite spray adhesive. It's repositionable and it says it dries permanent, but because it's on fabric, you'll find that you can leave it for weeks and then come back and you can pull them right off. Now, is the fabric going to be sticky to stick right on something else? No. But don't worry about after you've printed it, making sure that you pull it right off and cut it all up. You don't have to. So all you're going to do is, and I'm not going to spray this on here because A, it is really strong, so make sure it's well ventilated. And 2, it is very messy, so I might suggest wearing gloves because I had it all over and I couldn't get it off. So you're just going to spray, let me just move this aside. Spray this really, really well. I hold mine up, and I do it a lot of times outside. I hold it up like this and spray onto it. But see, you can see how gummy that is? Yuck. And then when you get that on your fingers, days before it comes off. And then you just very carefully lay your fabric on top of it, and it should look like this. And I'm going to see, I'll put this up as close as I can. You can kind of see it's almost like a linen fabric on here. So it's a little bit different than that muslin, but anything will work. And here's why I am telling you this, because you probably noticed this was some vintage fabric that I had. And I printed directly on this printed stuff. And this is I just had this handy and I wanted the bright colors, so I tried it. Like I said, some of them like that. The words were kind of on top of it. And then these were just ones that I printed to test. Oh, there's some more words. And then these I coffee stained. I actually coffee stained this while I was up there. I thought, why not? I had coffee. And it actually turned out really well because this was white. It was just like that. So a couple of things. You can print on any type of fabric as long as it's not too heavy. And the other thing that you can do that I did is let me move these out of the way. Once I did this, I printed my words. Or like in the case of this one where I had printed on the fabric, I did do a PDF of this. So I scanned the finished product of my fabric, and now I have a printable that I can either print on just regular fabric with those words, or I can print it on paper like I did in this case. So there's that one. This one, I'm going to pull this aside because I wanted to try this with you. This is one, it looks like it got a little extra ink when it went through the printer, which is okay. But I started to do this and thought, why don't we do this as a family? Let's see. So I want this to match some of these cherry blossom papers and use them on that. So I'm going to try, I just have these daubers that I started playing with. I don't know where I got these, and I'm pretty sure they're supposed to go on something. Like, they must go on something, a bottle or, I don't know. Okay, here, let me show you this. So this has already been printed. And see how easy that comes. And this I printed it before we left on vacation, so almost 2 weeks ago. So, let's take... one thing I would also suggest that I noticed is if you try to ink, which I did when I was first trying to play with this, right, like immediately after you printed it, it might bleed. I think over here I see it bled a little bit. So just be aware of that. You might want to wait just a little bit. Okay, where's that other pink one? Oh. Okay, so what do I have here? I'm using pickled raspberry, and we're going to try the sponge sugar, which is pretty light, so I don't know. I used it in one spot, but that was about it. But your fabric, most fabrics will take to this pretty well. I'd probably suggest just avoiding the words if you can. But you kind of get what I'm picking up, what I'm putting down. Easy peasy. You could even come up with, you could even, for all of you out there who love your distressing, you could even come through with something like this over all of that. Let's do that on a couple. And then you don't have to coffee or tea dye. But see, look right there. That bled a smidge, and I'm sure it has something to do with the chemicals in the ink that probably promotes that spreading. But you get the gist. Now, of course, I just showed you the sentiments and the words, but what if you have a digital and you love it and you want to do fabric flips or you want to do something else with it? Well, here's one that is in that, I believe this is in the Gloria Digitals. And I printed this right on fabric. So these can be book spines. See, and they come off pretty easy. Let's just cut one of these. What I probably would suggest is I would just cut them. Oh, these are not these are not. See, they don't say fab on the side, so they're not my fabric scissors. Hang on. Here we go. Fab. I would suggest just leaving them on the cardboard until you're ready to use them. And you know, these would be cute too if you want to reinforce, and you could just make, you know, add some more to each one of those, and then that is your reinforcement right in the middle. So, ta-did. But then you can tear this off, and now you have your own fabrics. Isn't that fabulous? Now, here's the one I did that I'm not loving. But maybe, let's just cut it up and see. Because what I did is I thought, oh, I'll use this spray that I never use. So I sprayed it. And then I printed it. And then I went, ew, that's horrific. But maybe if we cut these out, they won't look so... We could use this for some stamping. But I was like, I love, I know that sounds terrible. I love my designs because they're kind of a reflection of me. They're the color palettes that I love. They're just things that make me happy. And that's why I do them. And so I hope that they bring you joy as well. So why not have some of my favorite things in a variety of mediums, right? And, oops, I just got that a little. Let's hope I'm going to like these better once they're. So now I have all of these lovely images in fabric form that I can collage with. I can build texture. I can make tags. I can choose to either leave them mounted just like they are, because they're already reinforced, and then embellish them. But, you know, I mean, just think about it. Like, you could use these to make little matchbooks, you know what I'm saying? And then they just looked really different. I just don't like that one, but... So I think we're going to cut a couple of these and see. And I might leave some of them like they are. Unfortunately, with this, you do have to kind of use fabric scissors, but then you're cutting paper too, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think I'm going to leave that one like it is because it's really, really pale. Let's see what this one looks like when we cut it. But I mean, aren't you guys just thinking, oh, the fun things I can do with this? And I think most of us, hey, if you don't have a stash of fabric, go through your closet and find something that you just don't wear anymore and cut it up. Why not? There's not, so I've printed on, I print on muslin a lot, but let's just make something while we're doing this. But I haven't found anything that I've had an issue printing on, except like t-shirt cotton. I was making some shirts and I printed, you know, sayings on them and put them on flannels, and I wanted to use like a t-shirt fabric, and it really, it just didn't bode well. It was too hard to get through the printer. Let's see what happens if now I got to get in my zip it bag. I haven't unpacked everything from here yet. Let's see if that, I don't think it's going to. Nope. Okay, well, we're just going to use it as it is. I'm going to do an eyelet. Okay, that makes it a little harder. But we can make it work. Let me get my eyelets out. Actually, I think I'm going to do a brad. Man, I make a mess. It's always so organized when I start and then, whew, I got lots of stuff up here I'm going to have to clean out. Let's see. I'm going to do this one too. I don't even know if that's dry. I did that this morning. My hands, yep, see, my hands are green. What do we got? I have these like kind of glittery ones that are just neutral. But what if we did something like that? Because then we could use this on a page. We could just use it as a, you know, we could put it up at the top of the page. And then it kind of clips. We could put it over the page. Probably need to finish that side, but so that's something we could do with it. Could make a bookmark out of it. Oh, and we know what? We should probably just put a little word on there. Where'd it go? Let's just do another one. So I just think that this is something that would really expand your stash of items. And I met a new friend via the internet who had kind of a debacle with an order that she had placed and lost. She had ordered some fabric, and unfortunately, long story, but the postman did not deliver it as was requested. So now, you know, she was looking forward to having all of this fabric, but since she can't, you know, this is an option for her to do it pretty inexpensively, because you know what, guys? Fabric's not cheap. Well, it can be. I mean, if you can get it at your, oh, my favorite color, that's too big. These are all sayings that I say, so not all these are appropriate. Oh, let's just do a sweet one. So it's an inexpensive way to build a fabric stash. Because, you know, digitals, I mean, most of my digitals are under, oh, they're all under $4 unless you get a bundle of everything. And if I had my sewing machine down here, I would probably just sew that up. And you know what? Why didn't I do that before? So, by the time you guys watch this, I will, Landon has his first golf tournament of the season. And this is his first year playing golf, so I'm pretty excited about that. Let's just do this one without. So I'll have to let you know how that goes, how he did. But the guys, when we were on vacation, well, the big guys and the kiddos all went golfing once, and then the kids, my nephews, and then Sam and Landon went again the next day to a different course. So he's been practicing even when he was on vacation. I'm a terrible golfer. I like to get the outfits. Oh. But no, I'm not a good golfer. I feel like I should have put something behind that. Let's do this one with something behind it. Let's use a little piece of paper. Gosh, you'd think I'd be able to find one in here. Let's look in my, what colors do we have? What if we just did, so yeah, our vacation was truly, truly fabulous. Our family really needed it. We have not been, I think I've mentioned this, not been on a trip for so long with my parents and my siblings and all their families. And so we had such a great time. And it was really fun because, you know, you're kind of off the grid. So, you know, we played lots of games and we spent time by the lake and fished. We didn't do as much. We did take kayaks and canoes, but it was really, really windy on the first couple of days. Well, and rainy, first 2 or 3 days. So that didn't really come to fruition, but they got a little bit of canoe time and kayak time. The kids didn't get as much as they probably wanted. But gosh, it's just so peaceful and lovely. So there you go. You can just keep on going. But that is what I wanted you guys to all see, because I didn't want to keep my little tricks about printing on fabric from you. I thought you guys might want to do that too. So before we go, let's just hop on over. Let me move this before I spill my whole thing of bread. So that would be tragic. So all you're going to do if you wish to participate is use all of the things with the additional exceptions that I gave you for more magazines and more tape, and then whatever household items you think might be useful. And make sure that you tag Why Not Wednesday and To Restore You. That way I can find you if on your videos or on your social media or wherever your favorite place is to post, so I can see them and comment. And then our winner, I will pick a winner. So you have like a week or two, we'll just kind of go with it. I have to pick a winner for last week's challenge too. So next Wednesday I will announce the winner for this week's challenge and probably last week's challenge, because I haven't done that yet because I was on vacation. So and this week what I didn't do was decide what the prize was. What kind of prize shall I? Well, you know what? I think, I don't know. I need to think about it. If you guys have an idea, if you saw something here that you think, gosh, I would love to have that, then let's just roll with that. I'm kind of at a loss and I'm not back in the groove after vacation. So prizes, I didn't think prizes. What was I thinking? I promise it will be something fun. I do have some Happy Mail kits going out, and those are pretty amazing. So maybe I'll do, the winner will get a new set of Happy Mail, which has some fun surprises and does have fabric in them. So let's just go with that. So again, if you have questions or comments, and you want us to follow you, watch your videos if you are so inclined, be sure to tag me at To Restore You and Why Not Wednesday. And then I did want to share a shout out to all of you and thank you for supporting the channel. I'm a newbie and I'm having a great time, and you guys all inspire me to keep on keeping on. So this week I want to thank Lisa and Free Spirit Arts, as well as Fluffy Fish, for your comments and for subscribing to our channel. And then just a couple of other things. I reached out to JD at Junie Desiree. So when I was getting ready to go on my trip, I had that magazine and the Daphne's Diary, and she has a whole series of Daphne's Diary videos. And so I mentioned that I had finished mine, and I was like, I want you to take a look at it and see. But hers are beautiful, and so I will be sure to tag her, and so you can check out her channel. And then recently, a couple of my favorites that I have just stumbled upon that I think that you should check out is Antonio at Antonio Makes. He's just lovely. And then Bohemian Crafting, Eva with Bohemian Crafting. So I will tag all of them below so you can check out their channels too. So in the meantime, until our next play date, remember to take time and just be. Cheers, everyone.